We are back on WKCR, and in our studio among us is the artist whose performance just concluded, Oded Tzur, who was playing the saxophone along with Naren Budukar on the tabla. So let me begin by thanking you first for coming here. It's a great pleasure to have you here, and it was a great performance. Very interesting to see the saxophone being played in the Indian tradition. So so could you tell us a little bit about how you got interested in this music, where you come from, and who your teachers were?
Okay, I'll start with the shorter. Excuse me. I'll start with the shortest answer because the question that you ask is a very good one, and it takes an average of 3 or 4 days to answer. So basically, my teachers, first of all, for saxophone, were many, but the most significant one was Professor Gersh Geller of the Jerusalem Academy. I was born and raised in Israel.
Uh-huh.
And I feel that without this classical foundation, technically, I wouldn't be able to do the rest of the things that I'm working on now.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of Indian music, I still study actually as much as I can. And my teachers were Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia,
Uh-huh.
and also a team of teachers that was at the Rotterdam World Music Academy, where I studied in Holland.
Yeah.
Marianne Svasek and Henri Tournier, and also Drew Bagosh, and a few others. So I studied from many people, and I still try to study as much as I can.
Cool.
And in terms of the other things that you asked, it's just I started in jazz music as a saxophone player, but sooner or later I guess you can say that I felt a need to explore other realms of improvised music. I always felt strongly about improvised music, but I guess that in our day and age, when you can listen to every tradition in such an immediate, I mean, it's part of your direct environment in such an immediate way. I'm one of those people who feel that nothing is automatically your native language.
Yeah.
You know, I was born in Israel. I started with jazz music. At a certain point, I realized that the state of things at the moment is such that something has to address that moment in art. Something has to take everything together and make it so that an artist can speak of his or her experience in the world in a sense that is universal, perhaps. So, having said that, at a certain point, when I was encountered with Indian classical music, I think that, this is in retrospect, everything at the moment I didn't realize it, but I think that it spoke to that place, because Indian classical music, when you think about it, is really like a science of sound. And when you take away all the local elements of all the traditions that we now know and love in the world, the question that I ask is what is left there when you take away all the provincial. And for me, what is left is basically sound, vibration. And Indian classical music, in the way that it explores that medium, is very much a way to really handle that situation that I spoke of just now. So that's why it became, I think, the core of my practice today as a musician. And I came to New York quite recently, actually, in order to carry this forward on the saxophone, and also to continue with my own compositions and ensembles.
So will you be around New York for some time?
Yes, I'm based here now.
Oh, cool. Very nice. So we hope to listen to many more of your concerts, and especially at the radio station. And
Thank
what
you
you were saying was, sounded like a really good encapsulation of what this festival was really about. We've been featuring artists local artists from India and all over the world who have come to Indian music through many different directions. And what you said resonates strongly with what they have been saying throughout the day. So,
Right.
yeah, thanks for saying that. And as far as your music goes, I'm wondering how do you get this tone? It sounded very distinctive. Have you
Thank you.
worked on it for a while? Have you received help? How did that develop, the sound?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I definitely worked on it for a while.
Yeah.
It was a long while, and it still goes on. I have to say two things. There is a technical aspect for it,
Yeah.
which I'll try to describe as briefly as I can.
Yeah.
But it's really, to be very honest, it's really a matter of faith.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to regard faith as an integral part of a musician's work. There's just something that you need to take the chance in a way. You need to sort of really believe that something is possible in order for it to really manifest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just important for me to mention. So that's that. And other than this, the technical issue here is really I didn't make any changes physically to the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to develop a method that is now called AMPIS. It's
Okay.
short for a middle path in saxophone.
Okay.
And through the years, in the beginning, I wasn't aware that I was developing anything.
Mm-hmm.
It took me years to realize that something had been built there.
Oh wow.
And then I was invited to give workshops and lectures in several very distinguished places, and that was really wonderful for me. It was kind of a switch, because the whole work started off as something that was a little bit lonely, playing Indian music on the saxophone. And then at a certain point, it started to be something that I could share with other saxophonists, and the response was also wonderful. So it made a big difference in my career.
Mm-hmm.
But again, to speak specifically about what takes place, if you think about the instrument as something that has an equivalent to a string inside the tube,
Yeah.
there's a standing wave of air there,
Yeah.
which you can think of as a string.
Mm-hmm.
Now, normally speaking, the string starts at the mouthpiece and ends at the first open tone hole, meaning at the first place where the key is open and air can escape the tube.
Mm-hmm.
That is the conventional situation, but in some cases, in the higher register of the instrument, the wave extends, or the string, if you want to refer it that way, it extends a little bit beyond that first open tone hole, so that it exits the instrument in several different places. That is why, as every saxophonist know, it's easier to slide in the upper register of the instrument. Because when you bend the key, you don't disturb that exit point as much as you would in normal situations. The technique that I'm talking about tries to create the same effect. It's called end effect in acoustics, in the other registers of the instrument, so that you have a situation where the air leaves the tube in a gradual manner, and when you then slide or try to explore microtones on that specific pitch, the sound can be sustained, and the instrument can handle that added pressure. So that, in a nutshell, as briefly as I can, is the technique that is being used.
All right. So yeah, thanks a lot for enlightening us a little bit about your technique and your influences. So before we wrap up, is there any place people can go to learn more about you and your music?
First of all, there's my website. It's odedtzur.com. Other than that, in the near future, there is mainly an educational endeavor that I'm involved in. In Lotus Music and Dance. I believe their website is lotusmusicanddance.com, but in any case, I'll be giving a series of 4 workshops there, on Indian classical music from a universal perspective, starting just 1 week from now on Saturday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if anyone is interested, that's also something that they can check out.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. So thanks a lot. That was Oded Tzur.
Thank you very much.
Talking to us here from WKCR. So let's keep going. We will continue on and broadcast the last piece of live music here as a part of our Ragas Live Festival. For those of you who might just be tuning in, we have been broadcasting live music for about 23 hours now, and 1 hour left before this festival ends. And the next performers will be Kiran Aluwalia and Reza Basi. So please do stay tuned. We will be back very soon.